everybody. Welcome, library party people. Here we are.
In the cemetery.
The cemetery doesn't get much more of a party than that. And it actually does, and we're going to tell you all about it today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Julie Saxemeyer with the Foundation for Baltimore County Public Library. And this is Josh McCready. He's also with the Foundation?
Yes.
You can talk.
Also at the Foundation.
We are clearly live outside. This is not a green screen. See, I'll move around. You can't even see. We are in the historic Reisterstown Community Cemetery, which is right next to our Reisterstown Branch Library here in historic Reisterstown. And we are going to talk about I guess it's our seventh annual.
Seventh annual. We missed a year with COVID.
A Toast Among Ghosts.
Which A Toast Among Ghosts is our annual outdoor festival. It's literary, Poe-themed, Edgar Allan Poe themed, inspired by this amazing historic cemetery here. We found out some interesting information that we'll talk about a little bit later about Mr. Poe's relationship to this branch. And there actually is one, a historically documented relationship. But we have this event every year with food trucks. And some of our food trucks this year are Flash Crab Cake Company, Just Like Home Indian Cuisine, Reister's Daughter. Raven Beer is our beer sponsor, which could not be more appropriate.
So appropriate. If you've ever seen a label, it is a cartoon caricature of Edgar Allan Poe. So we're very grateful to Raven Beer for their continued support of this event.
Absolutely. They've been with us from day one. New this year, we have the Red Mask Market, which will include local artists and authors selling their wares in a little market here right in the parking lot. Bands.
Live music. And this, again, speaking of appropriate, this band is called Edgar Allan and the Poe Boys. They are incredible. They're so much fun. And then we also have Porch Setters Union. So it's a lot of fun. And we certainly want to thank our sponsors.
Yes.
Point Breeze Credit Union. Where are they, Josh?
Next page.
Oh, my bad. Point Breeze Credit Union, Bransfield Motor Company right here in Reisterstown, First Financial Credit Union, Susan Waxter, Ann West, and Janet Sanford. We are very grateful for their support.
Absolutely. The theme this year for A Toast Among Ghosts is Moonlit Masquerade. So we're inviting everybody, if you want to get into the spirit, you can wear a mask, maybe decorate it yourself, buy one. We don't care. Just come with a mask. We'll even have a costume contest for those who come in appropriate attire. And if you have a literary theme, bonus points.
And they're just bonus points.
Just bonus points. Yeah. The points don't matter.
And this is breaking news.
Yes.
If you're watching this right now, you can purchase your tickets right now. Go to our website, foundationforbcpl.org. Look for the events column. I guess it's probably right there on the main page.
Right on the front page, yep.
Yeah, and you can purchase your tickets today. They're supposed to go on sale tomorrow, but if you're watching this, congratulations. You have access to tickets a day early.
Absolutely. And we also have a few special guests with us today to talk a little about the event and some things that are going on.
We have Brad Sharpless, the Vice President of the Cemetery Board of Trustees. Brad, thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, glad to be here today.
And we appreciate it. And you all have been so supportive of this event. You've allowed us to conduct tours, you and your group, and you bring some amazing people here with you to conduct tours of the cemeteries. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the cemetery itself?
Well, a little about the history of the cemetery. Was established in 1764 by town founder John Reister. He took out a patent on approximately 3/4 of an acre of land, was known as Church Hill at the time, and he took this patent out with the intention of establishing a cemetery that was open to all members of the community. We're pretty sure that part of the motivation here was that by having this cemetery free and open to everyone, they could avoid paying the burial tax to the Church of England by doing that.
Yeah, and there's a really cool sign over there. It's on the National Historic Register. I'm sure I'm getting that wrong, but there's a cool sign. I just read it.
Yes. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here,
Sorry.
But the cemetery was placed on the National Register of Historic Places, I want to say about 2015 or so. So Great. We've got the nice plaque over there commemorating that. So it's a nice little honor that we were able to get assigned to the cemetery here.
So what does the cemetery committee do? And how can people get involved if they're interested?
Yeah, going back to the history a little further, in 1775, John Reister established a group of trustees that he then deeded the property over to. We don't really know why he did that. We suspect that because he had signed an oath of loyalty to the colonies, there was a risk that if things went poorly in the upcoming war, the British government would then confiscate the property. So by getting it out of his name and under a group of trustees, there was a little bit more legal protection for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. That was even before the Revolutionary War. So
True.
This cemetery predates the United States.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
That's really
but
cool.
Anyways, those trustees have continued to appoint their successors over the years. And there's a group of us now that continue to maintain the cemetery.
That's incredible. I mean, we're talking, I can't do math in my head, more than 250 years, 260 years almost.
It is. Now,
Wow.
Those trustees have had a few gaps in attention over the years, but at any rate, we're doing our best to try to keep up with what needs to be done to keep this place in good condition.
I mean, it's in great shape. I don't know what our cameras are showing, but it certainly doesn't look like a 260-something-year-old cemetery. I mean, aside from the gravestones that look pretty old.
Yeah.
It's not overgrown. Like, it's very well kept.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Well, I can assure you it's a constant effort to keep it in that condition.
I'm sure.
And can folks find you on like Facebook, or do you have a website? Like, how can they get in touch with you if they want to support or make a monetary donation?
Yes, we actually do. We have a website. It is Reisterstown Cemetery, all one word, .blogspot.com, and we've got a PayPal link on there if you're interested in contributing to the overall condition of the cemetery here. It does take a lot of money to keep the grass cut and the stones repaired, and the wall back in good shape here.
So who can we find in this cemetery?
Well, looking around the cemetery, you'll note that there are a lot of recognizable names around here. You'll see Reister, you'll see Owings, you'll see Berryman, you'll see Gore, Armacost, names that are associated with roads and places in the local area here. So you get a real tangible link to the past folks that helped build this community up. And I think we've got a special guest here that we'll introduce. Town founder John Reister is here with us today.
What an
I didn't
honor.
know John
And
Reister was going to be here.
he'll be a guest also at the Toast Among Ghosts next month. So
Well, Mr. Reister, if you wouldn't mind.
we'll turn it over.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sorry. live tell. It's not really.
Turns out he
television,
has not risen from the grave just yet. We're going to give him a minute to get all the way out of the ground.
But it's really cool.
Yeah.
The committee has expanded the tours over the years to actually include people standing in the cemetery who are representative of those who were buried here. So I think one year we had King George, who's clearly not buried here, but he was
had a connection.
He definitely had a connection, and
that we just learned about, actually. Yeah.
well, and he wasn't. If you're familiar with Hamilton, of course, he was not singing, which was disappointing. But Mr. Reister, I think, is here.
Yes, appearing
He's approaching
from the grave.
Wow. His friend, not foe, I hope.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr.
Mr.
Reister.
Reister, thank you for joining us.
Oh, our pleasure. It's nice of you to come here to Churchill and enjoy the beautiful day that we have today.
It is beautiful.
Yes.
Yes.
It's always a lovely day in Reisterstown.
It is. When I moved here at the age of around 30 and established Reister's Desire, which is what this piece of land was called, it was fairly uninhabited, almost entirely wooded with many large, beautiful trees. My wife and I were fortunate to have 6 children, most of whom made it well into their adulthood and lived right in the area, and are buried within the cemetery. It's one of the ironies of this cemetery that although I founded it and my family occupies it, we're not exactly sure where I'm buried.
Oh, no, really?
So you just kind of float around?
I do. We think we know up near the front, and we'll talk about that at Toast in One Goes, but we're not exactly sure. You know, you would have thought I would have provided for that, but...
well, you were more concerned about your family, which is nice.
Well, and my neighbors.
Okay.
You know that squirrely King George. When you were buried in the King Cemetery down some 5 or 8 miles from here, you had to pay to be buried. It's bad enough you have to be paid to be born, you have to pay taxes your whole life, and then the king wanted to have to pay more to be buried, and so I felt that it was the community spirit kind of thing to do, that we established this free cemetery for our friends. I am so proud of the people like Mr. Sharpless, who has continued it on to this very day, the trustees. Yes, we put it in the name of the trustees because there was some worry that if the war had not gone as we had hoped, the king in his magnificence, shall we say, would have tried to seize the cemetery, and we didn't want that to happen. So we felt the trustees was a fairly good way to do that. And as you can see, it has flourished over the years.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's just a plethora of people buried here. And my family and many other families have helped this location to grow. Literally just almost a one-lane kind of road, an Indian trail to begin with. I actually didn't move here at first. My first farm with my wife was up to the west of here in Frederick County.
Oh.
And Frederick County extended all the way over to this area. I believe you call the community today, it's a Minster. Oh, Westminster. Westminster.
Yes.
And my farm was just to the west of what you call Westminster.
Okay.
But in traveling back and forth between my farm and Annapolis town, I noticed that this crossroads was a natural place for people to congregate. And so I decided with my wife we would move our family here, all 6 of our children. We came to this location, built ourselves a home, and quite fortunately we prospered. First the original grant of 20 acres, and then we bought 83 more acres and 50 more acres on top of that. And across the road, one of my sons built a blacksmith shop, and one of my sons built a mercantile, a grocery store, if you will. My daughter married well. My daughters, because I had 4, married well, and they stayed primarily in the area. I had one daughter that went back up to York, but the rest stayed here. And we are just tickled pink to see, there's so many things we do in our life that are just extra.
Yes.
Come out to this event and hear the ghost, and we will have a whole crew of ghosts. It's not just me.
Right.
There will be 4 to 6 other ghosts here in the graveyard that people can come and visit their graves and talk to them. I don't want to give too much away, but,
Yes.
but we have ghosts that have many multiple talents, from diseases that you don't want to catch to lunacy that may run in the family to theatrical and singing skills that are quite remarkable.
Oh, I've heard the singing.
And
Yes.
we also have another guest that is here every year, and he's just exceptional to visit us. And of course, you know who that is.
We
Yes.
do, and I
Yes.
think we're going to speak with him next.
Oh, that would be wonderful. He is just an amazing character.
Well, Mr.
Yes.
Reister, we appreciate you joining us, and
So
I
much.
hope you can find your grave.
Yes.
Well, either way, I will be here.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
Nice
Reister.
to
Thank
talk
you
to
so
you.
much.
Reister.
Thank you.
Wow, that was an honor.
That was quite
Yeah.
unexpected. I didn't realize he was here
I
today.
didn't either.
You just never know who's going to pop out of the graves here at Reisterstown Community Cemetery.
So far, they've been pretty friendly.
Yes, so far, and
Yeah.
we hope. Usually they are even during our event, but it is a spooky event. We don't want to downplay that at all. Our next guest is not actually buried in this cemetery, although his grave is in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
But he has a certain connection here, and we're going to talk about that
Yeah.
when he joins us. I think he is making his way here as well.
He's legendary.
Yes.
I don't even think we need to say his name once you see him, but we will.
Yeah, we will,
Okay.
of course.
And it is our honor to have Mr. Edgar Allan Poe join us today on this live Facebook event.
Yes.
Which
Good afternoon.
Good
Mr.
afternoon,
Poe.
Mr. Poe. Thank you so much for joining us. We greatly appreciate the honor.
I am honored to be here.
Thank you. Now, you had a connection here at Reisterstown Branch, but it wasn't called that then. It was called the Franklin Academy.
Yes, the Franklin Academy. My good friend Nathan Covington Brooks founded it, ran it. He wanted me to be an usher here, sort of like a headmaster.
okay.
He tried his best to make that happen. The board at the time turned it down.
What a loss.
Mistake.
Yeah. Small-minded
Is
of
that
them,
how
really.
you
I
wrote the
was-
fall of the House of Usher?
Pardon?
I was trying to make a joke. That's okay. Sorry.
Oh, what was it?
Fall of the House of Usher. Could that be?
Well,
Totally different Usher family, I think.
Yeah.
yes.
Let's just let him continue.
No, it was a
that was my
different one.
only reference. Got it.
But speaking of, you're not going to do Fall of the House Usher, but you have
No,
something prepared for us,
I
don't
would
you?
like to say, though,
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
please.
I'm so
Those-
sorry.
We're sorry to interrupt you.
those, the board members,
Yes.
they did give me some inspiration. I made it a point to let them know in the future that that the world would hear of the person they thought unworthy of their notice. Yep. And I have done that.
And you certainly did.
Even beyond the grave to here today.
Yes. And then you come back to haunt it every year at Toast Among Ghosts.
Yes, yes,
And he does.
I do indeed.
He
Yes.
stands right here in the cemetery and
I love to
converses
be
with
here
our
each year.
guests.
It's wonderful. And to perform for so many living people in this necropolis.
Yes.
Good to see them.
Quite. Do you have a bit of a story you could share with us today?
Well, I don't believe there's time for the whole story, but perhaps the most popular of all my stories. I'll do a little of that.
Okay.
I shall assume the persona of the character in The Telltale Heart.
Oh, excellent.
True. Nervous. Very, very dreadfully nervous I had been and am, but why will you say that I'm mad? The disease had sharpened my senses, not destroyed, not dulled them. Above all was the sense of hearing acute. I heard all things in heaven and in the earth. I heard many things in hell. How then am I mad? Hearken and observe just how calmly, how healthily I can tell you the whole story. It is impossible to say how first the idea entered my brain, but once conceived, it haunted me day and night. Object? There was none. Passion? There was none. I loved the old man. He'd never wronged me, had never given me insult. For his gold I had no desire. What was it then that caused in me this feeling of revulsion? I think it was his eye. Yes, it was this. One of his eyes resembled that of a vulture, a pale blue eye with a film over it. Whenever it fell upon me, my blood ran cold. And so, by degrees, very gradually, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man and thus rid myself of the eye forever.
Wow.
Thank you, Mr.
What an
Poe.
honor.
Powerful and terrifying.
Yes.
Thank you.
Still to this
That
day.
was my intention.
Yes.
Well, it worked.
Yes.
Mission accomplished.
Every story should have an object, an objective, to create an effect. And that was the objective I was pursuing, to terrify.
And well achieved, sir.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, we look forward to seeing you on October 15th, standing right here in this cemetery, conversing with our guests who look forward to that every year. We appreciate you coming from wherever you come from to visit us here in Reisterstown at this event.
Well, I make these friendly little visits from the grave every year. And in fact, I'm making a few of them this year.
Where can we find you when you're not here in the cemetery, Mr. Poe?
Well, on October 2nd, there will be a Poe bus tour starting from Annabel Lee Tavern
Oh.
down in Baltimore. And the narrator will explain many facts about my life as the bus travels about. And we'll stop in a couple of places, and there I will perform a couple of my works. One of the places, by the way, will be the very graveyard in which I was buried.
That's Westminster Burial Ground?
Yes,
Yes.
Westminster Burial Ground at Fayette and Green Street. Mm-hmm. And let's see, the next would be at Annabel Lee Tavern, which that will be on October 9th, and that is at 601 South Clinton Street. Same place the bus tour departs from. And that evening, I'll perform a story there. and perhaps a little bit of poetry. Then later on, for those of you who can go up to Ohio, at the Garfield National Historic Site, there I shall perform 3 nights in a row.
Oh wow.
Mm.
Okay.
2 shows each night.
Wonderful.
Well, I mean, this goes Facebook Live, can go anywhere, so maybe
Yeah.
some of our Ohio fans can come see you.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, thank you for joining
Yeah.
us.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And last, the Lyceum in Alexandria,
Oh,
Virginia.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
that is a building that was around in my time, and it was a lecture hall.
yes.
I never actually did perform there, but if I had performed there, that's where it would have been, for sure. And that will be on October 30th and October 31st,
Oh,
Halloween
well
night.
timed.
Perfect.
Well timed. Yes.
Right. Mhm.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck with your performances over the next few weeks.
Yes.
Fine. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for having
Thank
me.
you,
Nice seeing
Mr. Poe. Thank you.
We appreciate it. Wow.
And if you would like to see that schedule, if you missed some of those dates, you can go to davidkeltz.com and find a little more. That's davidkeltz.com. And
You know, I should point out your shirt, because this is just some of the merch we'll be selling. Josh is our model. And we have shirts and glasses, and
we have some prints this year.
Yeah.
We have the prints we've had in past years, but we have some new prints this year that are like a gold foil print. They're really beautiful. One of our in-house artists at the library is creating them just for this event, and they will be for sale the night of, in addition to all the other wonderful things going on about the festival.
we do a lot with Poe, whether it's the Edgar Allan or the Ravens mascot.
We do.
At the library, we
Yeah.
have Poe. We're Poe fans around here.
Remember
so.
when there were 3 mascots and they were named Edgar,
Edgar.
Allan, and Poe?
I do. What happened to Edgar and Allan?
I think they moved to the great beyond. I don't know. Poe's the only one that made it. All right.
Well, we are pleased to welcome someone who's alive. We think she's alive. You're alive, right, Jessica? Jessica Faulkner, who is our sort of new branch manager here at the Reisterstown Branch. Jessica, welcome.
Thank
When did
you.
you start?
I started last January.
Okay.
I think I'm still very new, Joy.
Yeah. So, well, at BCPL, we have a lot of people who've been here for
Decades. Yeah.
So, but you probably feel like you got your feet under you now, and this is your first Toast Among Ghosts.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we are so happy to have you here, and thank you for allowing us to traipse all over your parking lot and your building on Saturday, October 15th.
Oh, we're happy to have you.
Well, so why don't you
So
tell us
much
a little
fun.
bit about yourself?
Okay, so I worked in public libraries for about 10 years now. I spent some time. Sorry, the sun.
I know the
I know,
sun's
the
bright.
sun.
We'll shade you. Right, yeah, there we go. Yeah.
in Harford County.
Okay.
And then a good chunk of my career was spent at Enoch Pratt in
Okay.
Baltimore City. Now I'm here.
You're making the rounds.
Yeah.
I am.
We're happy we have you, though.
I've
Yeah.
always loved public libraries. I didn't initially think about it for a career,
Yeah.
but I'm here now.
Well, we're so glad you're here.
Yes.
And
Happy to
you're-
work with you.
You feel like you've gotten used to Reisterstown, and
I think I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lovely little town.
It is. Yeah, it's really cool to come visit. It does feel like a small town.
Yeah. And since we started this event here, and it's always been here, and there's no other way to have it since it's so connected to the cemetery, it's really, we've grown with the community, and I feel like it's really beloved. What does it mean for like the branch to host it and for the community to have this kind of event here every year? Do you think?
I mean, I've heard so much about TOS since my first day. I've heard so much from the community and from the staff, and it's a fun event. And Reisterstown is just full of such rich local history.
Yes.
And I think the event celebrates it. So
Right.
it's very popular.
We
Yeah.
have a history display in the branch.
Inside, yeah.
We
Yeah.
do.
In the history room. So that display changes pretty often, right?
We change it monthly.
Monthly,
yes.
wow,
Different
okay.
themes.
Yeah.
It's also very
Yeah.
popular. I'm going to look at it all the time.
And it's always nicely themed when we do Toast Among Ghosts. It's always a fresh new display just for the event. So
Well,
yeah.
yes.
No pressure.
Gearing that up
No,
now.
yeah.
No, we're planning.
I'm sure. We always say we love working with this branch staff because they're so invested in this event. It's just such a pleasure every year to work with them.
Absolutely.
Half of our event staff comes from this one branch, I think.
Yeah. And we can't fool this event. I mean, it's a huge event. It's an outdoor event, so we have a lot of moving parts, and we are very grateful to everyone on staff who chips in.
Yeah, and it sells out every year. So just a reminder, tickets are on sale. If you're watching this, you can get them early. Make sure you get them before they sell out, because I think we've sold out every year we've had this event pretty much. Yeah. It is exciting. Yeah. So what else is coming up at Reisterstown Branch? What do you have on the books besides A Toast Among Ghosts?
Besides this, so we've planned many things leading up to it. So the first thing, I had to write them down.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
So, the first thing is our first anniversary is coming up of the building reopening on September 14th. Our One is Fun event. So we're just going to have like a mini crash kid. I know
that's cute.
That was cute.
Librarians like to rhyme.
We do alliteration.
Yes, alliteration. Yes.
Okay. So we're going to have craft kits and snack bags to go and just activities throughout the whole day. So please stop by for that on September 14th. And then for October, we have a whole slate of things leading up to Poe. So we have Pause to Read coming on October 1st. This will, of course, all be on our website.
Yes.
We have a local historian, Ann O'Neill, who's going to come and do a program called Beyond Main Street about historic Reisterstown on October the 3rd at 6:30. Her programs are really popular.
Awesome.
So, our local history room that you talked about earlier, we're going to open it up to open hours.
Oh.
And we're going to invite people in to do a craft related to local history in the room. And we'll change out the theme every month.
Is that hands-on history? Is that what that's called? Okay, I saw that.
Wow, Josh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I saw that. I thought that was really neat. So,
and we do have that new the memory lab,
the preservation
station.
Yes.
Wow.
So that is if you want to come in and digitize any of your old VHS, cassette tapes, things that probably won't work for much longer. You want to preserve your memories. So please come and do that too.
All right. Well, there's a lot going on here at Reisterstown.
It is. Spooky story time. I just want to mention that too.
Sure.
On October 24th. Because it's related to
cool.
to Toast. So
absolutely. No,
that's great. You're also, which we're going to talk about next, but you're also hosting the teen winners of our story contest. Will be here on the, I want to say, October 7th, I believe. And that's open to the public as well if you want to come hear the kids read their winning spooky stories. So another great event going on here, which you have so many of. And all of those can be found on bcpl.info. Is that right?
That is correct.
That's her. I've only worked here for 11 years. You'd think I'd know the website. But I did. I just questioned myself. So all those events are on there.
I called the room the wrong name.
Well, there is a memory lab
in DC. Yes.
Yeah, the foundation actually funded the preservation station, so you'd think we'd remember.
We're in the sun. It's enough for me to remember my own name.
We're doing great. You're doing great.
We're
Julie.
doing great.
Yeah.
If you're still watching,
thank you for joining us.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Thanks,
thank you,
Jessica. All right.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. They do so many. All our branches have so many great events year round, just constantly going on. We have just thousands of programs a year. Literally, it's always something going on at BCPL, and it's all free. So go to the website, see what's coming up next.
And Preservation Station is free.
The preservation, which is amazing. Yeah, they have some incredible equipment in there, and genealogy that helps with that, like keeping track of your family photos and all that.
Well, last but certainly not least.
Yes, our next guest,
Douglas Beatty.
Hello.
You were looking very dapper today.
You are.
This old thing? I usually wear this to work.
We see you around the building wearing that.
Just wearing it around. Yes.
Well, Doug is with our Adult and Community Engagement Department, and you are going to tell us what you're going to be doing at the event.
Well, this is, I think, my 5th year that I've done this, and this is my favorite. I love doing this event, and I do the fire pit, and we have ghost stories, because if there's nothing that a librarian does not like is if you tell a librarian to go into the works of literature and find a ghost story and read it, you are going to get people to sign up. And we love to do it. And the nice thing is, too, that a lot of times librarians are used to reading to kids for story times. And this is a chance that we get to read to adults.
Which is
so we get to pick something spooky and get our teeth into and really have fun with it. The fire pit is wonderful.
Doug doesn't get into it at all.
I don't. You might get accents. You don't know. Yeah. Depending on what I pick.
Reason enough to come.
One doesn't know what's going to happen.
So I just referenced the Tales of the Dead contest, which is our short horror story contest. But can you tell us a little tiny bit about that, and I can fill in what you don't?
Yeah, well, I think September 8th is the last day to enter.
So you have
so you definitely want to come and enter. And during the story pit, we do the 3 winners of the adult contest come and they read their winning stories, which is wonderful. We have such a wonderful creative community of writers in the county. And I work with a lot of the local authors in our department, and it's so nice to see them given a chance to read their stories. And they're spaced out through the night. So please come and support them, support us.
Yes.
The Ghost Pit's wonderful because you can get your food, you can get a beverage. If it gets a little hot in the evening, you can just come over and sit with us.
Yes.
Even though we have fire, which is when it's already hot.
We keep people back away from the fire.
Yes, we're back away from the fire.
We have a fire tender, don't worry.
It is a little steamy over there.
Depends. It depends. I mean,
it's a good thing we're not reading romance stories because that would be
that would be another event.
Yes.
You're giving us ideas.
Okay, but yes. But yeah, so the winners are the adult winners because I think the children winners are going to be here.
Yes,
but we do and I get a chance to read them too. And we vote on.
You've helped judge in the
what
past,
we've liked,
right?
And that's a really nice opportunity too.
What do you think makes for a good scary story for anybody who might be entering? What are some tips?
I mean, I think really with a story, what you find frightening, don't think about what other people find scary because you only know. Like, honestly, doing your tax return could be the most terrifying thing and you could write a scary story about that and it could be true because that is what you're feeling. Clowns, spiders, whatever you're feeling. Some of the stories get more gory, they tend to be more, very descriptive. And other stories are more like seething horror, like what is around the corner, what can't we see? And I think all of those things really make up a good story. I think it's just right from your heart and write what really frightens you and you can frighten other people, which I think is a good thing.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
I'm very easily scared, so.
Me too. Yeah. Me too, yes.
Well, thank you. Thanks for coming, Douglas. We appreciate it. And
I look forward
you can come see Douglas at the Ghost Story Fire Pit on October 15th. And we do have 2 categories for the Ghost Story contest, the horror story contest. There's an over 21 and under 21. Because this event is 21 plus, only the over 21 can read at the event, which is why we've added on the under 21 program here at Reisterstown on the 7th.
And we've had entire classes from schools submit stories, which is really a cool thing to do with your a creative writing class or an English class.
Yeah,
and we love that. That's awesome.
We had like 80 entries that year, and just in the under 21 category alone. So that was a banner year for the contest.
A lot of stories to judge. Our judges are who are our judges? We have board members.
We have board members, librarians, our head of collection. Published authors, and Douglas, as I think one maybe this year. I'm drawing
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. It's a wide range of people, and it's fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So. We always get some really, really scary entries that keep me up at night after I've read them. So a lot of fun. Tickets
are on sale now if you're watching. Otherwise, they're on sale tomorrow. But how much tickets cost? And
$25 in advance. VIP tickets, which include a pint glass, print, and 2 drink tickets. So you can skip the drink ticket line to start off. Those are $50. And if you wait till the door, they may not be available, but if they are, they're $30 at the door. VIP are not available at the door.
I would personally buy them in advance. We keep them on sale until 5 o'clock the day before, just in case people are judging the weather.
Unless they've sold out. Last year we sold out 2 weeks before the event. So
I would roll the dice, and if this is a rain or shine event, so
yep. We have backup plans, right, Jessica? And we do hope to see you there on October 15th. It's 7 to 10, sorry. Mm-hmm. And we do want to thank our sponsors one more time, Point Breeze Credit Union, Bransfield Motor Company, Susan Waxter and West, First Financial Credit Union, and Janet Sanford.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us today. We hope to see you in October.
Bye.